Hi guys, welcome back to the Colourful Table channel. We've had a few fans of that name that I've been using at the start of these videos recently, so yeah, let's let that stick. That's going to be the new introduction for these videos that feature a colourful table anyway. So today we're going to be checking out the latest Anbernic device. I say the latest. Basically, I've heard about this on a podcast, a lot of people talking about this device in particular for playing like retro games and stuff, and actually this one intrigued me because I was a previous owner. We did a video on it quite a while ago of the Anbernic RG35XXSP, I believe that was the name. It's like the same name, right? Yeah, RG35XXSP. Great little system. I'm not really any sort of affiliation to is that the right word? You know, like some sort of like nostalgic connection to Game Boys, but I quite liked the fact that this looked like a Game Boy. I never really owned one as a kid, but obviously this device goes beyond what you can do on a Game Boy. So I'll power this thing on. It's not really got much battery, but yeah, I've had a few. Can you see that? Yeah, little upgrades to this since that first video I did on the Anbernic RG35X. So you can see this is where all of the different consoles that I've added. We've got a lot of MAME arcade games that are all listed here with the box art. It's really cool having access to these games at your fingertips, touch of a button. A few different systems. There you go, Game Boy Advance. We'll go into there. So these actual like box art and full games of a lot of these cool titles. Game Gear, Lynx. We've got Mega Drive in here too. So yeah, some really cool functionality. Neo Geo Pocket, PlayStation, and that was kind of the limit that you can get out of this device. I think you can, using certain builds and whatnot, get games like Saturn and Dreamcast running. I just don't think they run very well, which is where this device comes in. So hopefully that wasn't too long-winded. There's me Garlic OS main menu. It's pretty cool, sort of like the Turtles character selection. So let's take a look at this. So this has arrived today. Basically, I just bought this from AliExpress. So last time I was sort of recommending picking this up from Temu. Obviously, since then, I do feel like now that Temu's got a lot more traction and has been heavily advertised, I feel like the prices have slowly increased with it. And I did notice, whereas like previously it felt like Temu themselves were shipping these items to you, it's kind of gone a bit like Amazon in the sense that you don't know who the fuck you're buying stuff from now. Basically, there's like all these different shop names. Basically, people make shop names like they just fell on a keyboard and like, oh, okay, that looks like a word, we'll leave it at that. And then that's the brand that they've assigned to like wireless vacuum cleaners, and there's like 50,000 different types of vacuum cleaner. But then it's like the pictures are identical, essentially, and they're all various prices. I feel like Temu's gone a bit like that, so I've not really used Temu since. And obviously with all the spam that they do, the notifications, you only have to load the app up and they've got like casino spinning wheels and stuff. It was getting a bit too over the top for my liking. So I heard about these. I basically just did a Google search for how to buy one of these devices. And then I just looked for what appeared to be the cheapest option. Again, there's a few different similar sort of thing on AliExpress with the Amazons and the Temus, there's like all these different sellers. But I put this in the cheapest order and I just bought the cheapest one off AliExpress. That was probably the first time I've used AliExpress, to be honest. I know it was like heavily advertised during the Euros. I mean, it's arrived. It arrived quite quick, actually. Maybe like a week since I've ordered this, maximum. So it's not too bad. You do have to pay for shipping. I think it was maybe £5 shipping. I'm not sure. But all in all, I think this cost me about £40, £45, somewhere thereabouts. which I don't think is too bad because, well, not that we've opened it and had a look at this. This is like literally my first experience with this. I've got no idea, but we're going to do an unboxing now. But essentially, what I'm trying to say in a roundabout way is that this goes beyond PlayStation, and it apparently can play Dreamcast, which was the sell for me, like a really cheap portable device that can play up to and including Dreamcast games. And from this podcast I was listening to, they made it sound like it played them well as well. So we're going to check that out, hopefully, in this video. I'm not sure if there's enough battery in this to get to that point. I'm not even 100% if there's games included on the card. There's supposed to be an included SD card. I'm not sure if that's already in the device. Doesn't appear to be. There's a quality control sticker there. But yeah, so this is basically... So this device here is modelling essentially the Game Boy, right? This one on the other hand is modelling the Game Boy SP, which is why it's called RG35XXSP. So essentially, yeah, it's got that flip out screen. A nice D-pad actually. Feels... Yeah, it's got more of a click to it than the original Anbernic. This RG35, regular edition. Never actually owned an SP, so I can't compare how this feels to how an SP would feel. You've also got the the L1 and L2 buttons, and the R1 and L. I always get this messed up. L1, L2, R1, R2. There you go. Buttons on the top that act like your triggers. Essentially for your PlayStation games. I was going to say it feels quite comfortable, but also maybe a bit difficult to press certain triggers without touching the other ones, because where your fingers sort of lean, you're sort of hovering over the R1 if you're trying to press the R2, and already I'm sort of feeling it might play better than that once we're in the game. We'll see. So we've got the same sort of Nintendo style system, A, B, X and Y, a start and select button, and obviously your D-pad, and there's a button there that says M, which potentially could be mode. We've got the power on the side there, we've got a button that says R, and we've got what appears to be a volume up and down. We've got a HD port, so you can plug it into a TV and essentially use this as a remote controller, a controller remotely, even while it'd be wired into the TV, might be a bit awkward, but you can have that functionality if you want. And the other one says USB OTG, which is obviously where you charge. It has got that additional, pivot point that I've got a vague memory of SPs doing that, even though I've never owned one. Maybe I've used one, because I have got just as I was thinking there, I got that memory of doing that in the past. So let's see, it also comes with wipes. Is this a screen protector? It looks like a screen protector. Yeah, so if you want to put an additional layer of protection, I think I did do that with that screen, so that is probably something that I will do, but I won't do it at the moment. Well, shall we? I don't know. I don't want to get these, there's already dust on it, to be honest. So I'll probably have to give it a good clean. But I mean, they're cheap enough at 40 quid that I could probably go naked, bare skin, or whatever you'd say. So it's in Chinese that side and English on this side. So main interface options, game buttons and ports, game. So this is the contents here. So let's have a look. Number 1, main interface operation. So the main interface menu. Obviously, we're going to see that when we turn it on, so we'll skip that for now. Let me just see what... So that R button is the reset button. That makes sense. There's also a headphone jack in the bottom there, and where you'd put your SD card. Hopefully there's an SD card in there, because I felt like it did advertise that there was one. It says game import, insert a FAT32 formatted memory card into the external slot for the game console and a new folder for each. Unless they're built in. We'll see, and there's an extra cart there to add more. These are the different, very similar to the original RG35XXSP in terms of being able to fiddle with the backlight and stuff. We'll have a quick look at that in a moment. Game quality, divided into high definition, scanline, dot matrix, okay. Game streaming. First, make sure that game console and computer are under the same Wi-Fi. Okay, interesting. Bluetooth settings, indicator light and charging function. So, yeah, we'll see if it's got some power. Hopefully it has. And then there's some in-game menu shortcuts for like saving states and stuff like that. There's also online play there as well, which is interesting. So first, make sure the two consoles are on the same Wi-Fi. So yeah, if you bring someone round to your house perhaps, or well, that's what it sounds like, are on the same Wi-Fi. So yeah, right, don't need to look too much more into that. So let's just have a quick look under this tab. There's going to be a wire in here, I'd have thought, a cable. But potentially, by the way it looks, not an SD card. Yeah, so there's just a cable in there. And it is advised to use the included cable. And potentially double check the actual wattage that it recommends using for power. Because I did hear on same said podcast that potentially there could be overheating issues when charging. If you leave it on charge, you don't want to burn your house down, kind of a thing. And I know that sounds scary, but obviously all it takes is just make sure that you're using the right power plug. If you plug this into a like a terminal, whatever they're called. Right, enough waffling. Let's turn this bad boy on. I hate saying that, bad boy. Anbernic, so it does boot up with some sort of built-in software. I wonder if there's going to be sound in a moment. Can you see that? You can't see that. Just give it a moment to boot up. I'm going to be really, really intrigued if there is built-in games and potentially built-in Dreamcast games. There is sounds. It's got that very horrible default, yeah, I don't know how to explain that, but like not the best sound. But let's have a look. So we got built-in cards, and it's got PSP games, PS1 games, Vertical Arcade games, CPS 1, 2, 3 games, Neo Geo games, FB Neo game, whatever that is. Then we got MAME games. I don't need to say the word game, do I? GBA, NES, SNES, Master System, Mega Drive, 32X, Game Boy Color, Game Boy, PC Engine, Neo Geo Pocket Color, Game Gear, Wonder Swan Color. Ah, okay, so there isn't actually any built-in Dreamcast games on here, which is interesting. So, I'm not quite sure where the SD card is. Is it under this? I bet it's under here, actually, thinking about it. So you can peel this sticker off and get access to the built-in. So obviously this is just, we'll take this off even though it's ripping. I didn't really want to mess anything up here, but I mean, all it said was CQC, whatever it is, quality control with numbers. So yeah, that's the RAM card, the SD card, basically, SD card that comes included with the software and some pre-installed games. So I've assumed that you may have to set up the folders correctly for them to properly boot, etc. But you could insert a second SD card there with, like a bigger one, like maybe like a terabyte, 2 terabyte, or whatever the maximum sort of SD cards are these days for this sort of slot, with like a complete library of Dreamcast games, for example. And I mean, I can't really test them at the moment unless I come back to this in like a part 2 aspect of the video. But essentially we're meant to be able to play them. Let's start with PSP, because I feel like, so you've got PS1, the PSP games should be a little bit better than that, I'd have thought. Let's see what games we got. We got Tekken 6, Ridge Racer, Pac-Man, God of War, Chains of Olympus. I'm not sure if any of these are too intensive, but let's go with God of War, just as a bit of an example. so I'm assuming that's the volume. There's no on-screen volume indicator, but we've also got select start and menu. So I reckon if we press that, okay, so this is where you can see, so there's some settings, graphical settings, VSync, display layout, frame skipping. So there's quite a few different settings to mess about with there. Controls you can remap by the looks of it. Sound you can change. Networking tools, what's under that? Save data. System, retro achievements that you can link to it, that's pretty cool. UI sound, we could turn that off, to be honest, so it's not too annoying. So yeah, there's loads of settings and stuff that you may need to look into if you're interested in picking one of these up. Just trying to see, let's turn it down a little bit. So what I was going to try and do was, is there a way to get the, I think last time you pressed a couple of buttons at once. Let's just have a quick look. I just want to make sure we're on the brightest setting that's possible, just to double check on the backlit nature. So adjust brightness is hold menu and volume up and down. Is that working? Can't see any change there. Emulator shortcuts. Menu plus volume up and down, just brightness. That's doing them. That's not affecting the adjust brightness menu plus volume up and down, so it's not actually doing that for some reason, unless you need to be on the main interface. Let's just try a new game for now, and then I will quickly try that before I end the video. I don't want to make this too long, to be honest. I haven't got much battery on me the camera here. Let's try and get straight through to the gameplay if possible. No, doesn't look like we can skip this. I've turned subtitles on.
But for now, his only relief from the sins of his past was found in the heat of life. And on this day, Kratos had been called upon by the gods to confront an unthinkable evil.
Does feel quite nice, guys, button-wise.
By the invading Persian army.
All the buttons have got a nice click to them. Alright, here we go. So this looks to be in-game. Attack. See, it's got actual PlayStation buttons on. I will say it feels a little bit framey to me. Use red orbs. I can't move. I can't move either. So yeah, that one isn't the best. Isn't the best game to start on, I don't think, because it feels like it might need an analog stick for that. What is that? That was like some sort of emulating a PlayStation store almost. While we're on this, let's see if we can adjust the brightness. Yes, so that's where you adjust the brightness now on the screen. So essentially, you're probably not going to want to stick with this stock software. You're going to want to probably see if there's like a Garlic OS type of operating system, basically, to get the full potential out of this device. And like I say, once you've unlocked that full potential, you'll be able to probably get it to a state more in sync with the state that you saw on this device previously, where it had all the actual consoles on the layout there and games with game art, and just the whole entire menu system looked and felt better on this device, smoother, etc. Obviously the built-in operating system here, not the best. Let's just boot up a 32X game, maybe. Actually, let's go for like a Mega Drive game that I'm familiar with, or that you're all familiar with. Let's try Sonic. I'm not sure if I did a Sonic last time, but we'll go with Sonic 2. It's got to be on here, right? So there it is, Sonic 2. Obviously, guys, if you are interested in one of these, you know, it's going to be one of those that you can't just show it off to its full potential in 20 minutes. You're going to want to play around with all the settings. Like I say, have a bit of a go at upgrading the operating system, etc., to release the full potential of this device, and obviously eventually get to putting Dreamcast games on here. So basically what I heard was this guy was playing Virtua Tennis, and from the way it sounded like it was playing absolutely perfectly, which is what you want. And I do remember actually with the Garlic OS on this device, there was like an overclocking boost. So potentially that might be how you have to sort of do to reach the full potential of you know, these max high-end Dreamcast games. Maybe Shenmue. I don't know if it's possible with just the D-pad. I mean, maybe Shenmue is possible with just the D-pad, because you can play that game with a D-pad. That's how you had to play the game originally. So I'd be curious to see. But yeah, I mean, it's essentially that God of War, thinking about it now, you'd probably have to go into the controls and remap them to the analog controls, or maybe there's like a toggle that's like D-pad and analog. So if you're playing like a PSP game or a PlayStation game, basically, or whatever would require an analog sort of control system, I reckon that is probably what you have to do to make sure that the D-pad works. So God of War we probably could have got working in hindsight. Let's have a quick go on Sonic 2 just before I wrap this video up. So trying to feel for like any latency issues. Feels great, to be honest. Feels nice, smooth. Ooh, a little bit of slowdown there. Very interesting. I don't know if that slowdown is this built-in Anbernic software or whatever that it comes with. But there is a bit of slowdown there, guys. But then again, is that, I don't know, is it like how the original Sonic 2 was? And I'm just used to playing like these souped up classics that have been re-released over the years that are now in like 60 FPS. I'm not sure. Right, let's back out of the menu, back to the main menu. Let's see what these other options are. So, RA game. Oh, okay. What? What? Did I hear me? Okay, guys, this is suddenly interesting. So, game rooms. Built-in card. I don't understand why there's these games in this section here with a menu like this, and then there's RA game with a menu like this. Dreamcast. Here we go then. So this is where the Dreamcast games are on the built-in card. How's the Dead 2? How is that going to work? I suppose just the cursor. Okay. Wow. So Is Virtua Tennis on here? So Virtua Tennis is on here. Let's give it a quick go, guys. Virtua Tennis. Let's just see if it plays like I heard. Oh my goodness. Okay. FPS up the top right there. That's going to be interesting to keep an eye on. What's going to blow my mind is if this plays smoothly and Sonic 2 didn't. What is going on, guys? Let me turn the volume down. Okay. Oh my goodness, it feels sick so far. Arcade. Singles. Dude. Let's turn it down a bit more. Oh my goodness. Go with Tim Edmund. Oops. So it is Dreamcast style, I should assume. So it's going to be confusing to me with the A and B. But let's see. So you can see, keep a track of the FPS at the top there, guys. Oh my days, mate. So it has dropped to just below 30 FPS. But honestly, it feels decent. Weirdly, my camera just stopped then. Not quite sure why. Recording, but yeah. So basically, I was on Virtua Tennis. I thought it played great. Really impressed actually. Coming off of the FPS lag I was getting in Sonic 2, coming across to these Dreamcast titles, Virtua Tennis 2 there. Is it still recording? Yeah. I don't know what went on then. Virtua Tennis 1, sorry. Playing absolutely fine. And I did say, obviously, you wouldn't know as I said this because it was like, it's been lost now. But basically I was saying, and even if it's possible to upgrade the operating system to like a Garlic OS, like on the original Anbernic device that I did previously that I showed, and then potentially get the overclocking options within that software and just have a smoother user experience altogether, potentially these games could be running even higher FPS than what you've just seen there that was in the corner. I'm going to try another one. I'll try Soul Calibur because that was particularly graphically impressive. Can we skip? We can skip. So very similar to an actual Dreamcast. That is the American Swirl, I believe. Soul Calibur. So we're currently running at 30. It's making save data as well, like a VMU's in there. Menu seems okay. Keep forgetting I need to press that. So we'll go with Killick, my favourite. Oh, there's a little bit of an audio stutter there. So that's block. Okay. The soul lives on. I wonder if let's try the triggers. So that this is where we'll get the so the triggers are working with the sort of guard break. Let's see if I can pull off a grab. I forget, is it them two? Let's give it a go. If Ivy will let me. Can't remember. Let's just die, eh? I'm showing it. Could be them two actually. I'll try them two in a moment. That was it. Fuck off my stage. Guys, it's running at 60 FPS. It's running Soul Calibur. Well, okay, there's a little bit of a dip there, but that is insane. Going from the the Anbernic 35 RG. It's such a stupid name, to be honest. RG35XX. This device that lagged a little bit on Afterburner, if you remember, Afterburner 2. I had to get the Garlic OS and overclock that. But this is running stock operating system, and the Dreamcast games so far are extremely playable. And I'm absolutely chuffed to bits about that. So for like 40 quid, having these games built in, I think is well worth the money, actually. No affiliate links on this, but so far so good, guys. Actually, I'm chuffed with that. It's actually playing the more modern retro stuff better than the retro stuff. I'm curious about House of the Dead 2, but I don't know. Let's go back a sec. Let's see what else there is. So open bore. Not sure what open bore is. We've got more PSP, or is it linked to the same stuff? We've got some PlayStation games listed there. CPS 1, 2. I mean, they were just listed in the other menu, right? So I'm not quite sure what the difference is. What's Pico? For a moment I thought it was Sega Pico, but no, I don't know what that is. Pokey? There's some sort of Pokemon listed games there. Atari 2600. Has it got Food Fight? One of my all-time favourites. Let's see. Go on. Go on. Can we skip a bit forward like that? Oh, no Food Fight. What a bag of wank. Virtual Boy. That's interesting. I've never played Virtual Boy games, you know. We've got the Game & Watch. So there's some Game & Watch games on there. Game Boy Advance. These are all the built-in software as well, guys. I haven't actually downloaded anything at all yet. So all of this software comes bundled with this actual device. Pretty much, well, a rather extensive library of Mega Drive. I know we did try Sonic 2 a minute ago. Even Mega CD on here, guys. Terminator, Sonic CD, sick man. Sega 32X games, Master System, of course. Game Gear. I wonder if Halley Wars is on. One of my favourites. It is. Bonus points. Game Boy Color games, Game Boy games, PC Engine games, and PC Engine CD games. There isn't many of those, but obviously you can download more game files if you can find them, you know where to look for them, sort of thing. It's obviously recommended that you already own the game as well. That's how emulation has always worked, right? Crush Roller, sick game. I love Neo Geo Pocket Color. That's awesome, man. Wonder Swan, MSX. Some sort of MSX, isn't that like PC titles? Even Nintendo DS games on here, which is interesting. Not quite sure how that works with the double screen. Nintendo 64 games on here. Mario isn't listed though, unfortunately, and that was a game that I did manage to download and get running on this. So it will be possible. Atomic Wave. I mean, to be fair, if it's got an N64 emulator built in here, you probably just download the Mario ROM and it would work. That's what I'm curious about, actually. Let's go on the Naomi board. Alien Front. Cosmic Smash. So it's got like the arcade version of Cosmic Smash on here. Cannon Spike. Gigawing 2. Dude. Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Sega Tetris. Project Justice. Okay, this is pretty sick, guys. And there's some ports on here. Quake. Wow. I'm going to try. I wonder, with it having Naomi, if you could just download these Naomi arcade ROMs as such and just play them like this. I'm assuming so. Let's try Cannon Spike. Great little game this is. I had on the Dreamcast. Sorry, I've kind of gone a little bit extended on this video than I was expecting. I had actually already ended it without realising that this section was on the console, and then suddenly found it, and I was like, okay, we're gonna have to do a bit of video editing, magic of editing, to make it look like I found this directly after. So yeah, Canon Spike. So it's loading up as in the actual arcade version would. So we're gonna have to add credits. Oh my god, it is actually running at 60 FPS. So obviously at some point you can unlock, or at least you can on the Dreamcast, Mega Man. And let's see if it works with the D-pad. I can't remember. Yeah. We've actually got a full 60. I can't remember if it plays like this, but if I'm holding the shooting button, I think it does do this, doesn't it? Once you're holding the shooting button, the direction that you're facing is... oh, there's a special with the triggers there. I can't remember, is there like a lock-on button? That's your lock-on button. Right, okay. So that's how you play this game. So Y on this thingy targets, and then you can... So you target and you can hover around shooting that particular enemy. Or you can sort of manually do it. Very cool. Right, we've got the boss here. Let's try a special. Really fun game, this. Let's finish him off. Or her off, sorry. Cool, man. And there's a bigger boss. So yeah, I think I'll leave it at that, guys. You've kind of had a little bit of a taste for some of the Dreamcast stuff on there. There wasn't Saturn, I noticed. I'm not sure if that is something that can't be emulated, or you need to download that as part of the Golic OS. Maybe it does enable Saturn as well. That would be sick if it does. But yeah, Dreamcast working absolutely fine on that, which is amazing to me. Such a small handheld console for the price of £40. I was thinking I'd have to pay some sort of high-end prices to get a equivalent sort of powerful handheld system like this. I kind of got addicted to the Anbernic when I first had it, trying to get as much stuff as I could for it. And then obviously I found out about like slightly better performing handholds that potentially more money, or they were more money, even upwards to like say the Steam Deck, that you can sort of install software to emulate Dreamcast, etc., and get the full libraries. But if this little handheld for the low price of £40 can do perhaps not as good of a job, but it's up there, man. I've just been playing Canon Spike on 60 FPS, Soul Calibur, and Virtua Tennis, and potentially with the Golic OS we can overclock it, potentially get a little bit more out of that FPS, keep it in the high-end frame rate there for a more enjoyable experience. Perhaps that's possible. I might do a sort of a rebuttal video in the future if I do upgrade the operating system on this device and sort of delve into its untapped potential as such. And yeah, potentially could be a video on the horizon to continue on from that, guys. So if you want to subscribe and keep an eye out, I post like loads of random videos anyway, so I'm pretty sure there's something for everyone. Maybe. I did do a bath bomb video the other week, if that interests you. And just recently we've been going through a lot of my Sega collection, because I've offloaded a ton of it in what will eventually become a trip. Well, not a trip as such, but an actual move to Japan, where I'm sort of intending to do some sort of vlogging, etc. as well. So if that interests you guys, keep tabs on the channel. I'm trying my best to upload a bit more content and frequently. I'm quite enjoying it, actually. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this video for some reason, yeah, you can keep an eye out for more videos coming rather soon, I would imagine. So I'm going to leave it at that, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed that sort of first impressions look. Quite impressive, actually. Started off a little bit disappointed with the FPS aspect of Sonic 2, and what was the first game I played? God of War, where I could feel the bizarre FPS, but since then, yeah, pretty chuffed with how it's just played those Dreamcast games. Yeah, pretty cool little device. I just wanted to check quickly, where would Afterburner be? We played Afterburner on, I'm sure it was an arcade, right? Afterburner. Where would Afterburner be? Or did we play just the Mega Drive version? Surely not. I thought it was a Afterburner 2. Just for the hell of it. Hey. No slowdown on the audio. Like if you watch the original Anbernic video I did on this device, there was audio issues, a lot of slowdown. This actually, I can't move the plane, but I'm sure I did mention it. I don't know if it made it into the video before it got cut, but I did mention that I'm pretty sure you can probably map the D-pad, or maybe there's a toggle button somewhere. I'm not going to look into it right now because I was like part way through ending, but there it does play Afterburner. And I did figure out that you can make it go into sleep mode by closing the lid there, which is pretty cool, and also by holding the power button there. It also goes into sleep mode open. Right guys, ending. I am definitely ending now. Thank you very much for watching. See you on the next one, yeah? Take care.